The air feels heavy, like creation itself is waiting for something. You can sense it when you wake up, when you look at the world, when you pray and the silence feels louder than ever. It's as if heaven is holding its breath and time is leaning forward toward an unseen moment. The world is spinning faster, but hearts are growing colder. Nations rage, truth is mocked, and people chase shadows that cannot satisfy. Yet, beneath it all, there is a divine order unfolding, a sequence Jesus himself warned about long before the first trumpet sounds. Before the rapture, there will be signs not hidden, but ignored. Jesus described them in detail, not to terrify us, but to teach us. He said there would come a time when hearts would fail for fear, when love would grow cold, and deception would cover the earth like smoke. And he said, when you see these things begin to happen, lift up your heads, for your redemption draws near. That's where we are now, living between prophecy and fulfillment, between warning and awakening. What we're seeing across the earth isn't random chaos. It's the world groaning under the weight of what's coming. Every headline, every earthquake, every division, every moral collapse, it's all part of a pattern he revealed to prepare us. But Jesus didn't just give us signs of the end, he gave us the order of them. He wanted his followers to recognize the rhythm of his return, to understand that before the rapture comes revelation, and before glory comes shaking. This is not a message of fear, it's a message of focus, because what happens before the rapture will determine who is ready for it. And that time, my friend, has already begun. 1. The beginning of birth pains. Jesus called them the beginning of sorrows. In Matthew 24, he described a series of tremors that would shake the earth before his return: wars, rumors of wars, famines, earthquakes, and fear. But he didn't call them the end. He called them the beginning. Like labor pains before birth, these events are signs that something new is about to emerge. Every contraction in creation is pushing the world closer to his coming. The signs aren't meant to scare us. They're meant to wake us. Every shaking is a call to attention. The world calls it chaos, but heaven calls it preparation. When you see instability spreading, when the ground beneath your life begins to move, don't panic. Look up. God uses shaking to separate what's built on sand from what's built on the rock. We are watching prophecy unfold in real time. Nations are rising against nations, not just through war, but through ideology. Truth itself has become the battleground. The moral compass of society has spun off its axis. The earth is literally groaning, storms intensifying, climates shifting, hearts failing for fear. Jesus said these things would come, not to break us, but to remind us that this world was never meant to be our home. Birth pains are not random, they follow a pattern. They start small, they grow stronger, and they come closer together until the moment of delivery. That's what we're witnessing now, an acceleration of prophecy. What once happened every century now happens every season. And just as a mother can't stop labor once it begins, this world can't stop what's coming next. These are not the signs of defeat. They are the contractions of redemption. The storm is not proof that God has left us, it's proof that he's on his way. 2. The great falling away and the rise of deception. Before the trumpet sounds, before the sky breaks open, there will be a great falling away. Jesus didn't warn first about wars or disasters. He warned about deception. He said, "Take heed that no one deceives you." That's how the enemy works. He doesn't always attack faith by force. He weakens it by imitation. He doesn't destroy churches with persecution. He dulls them with comfort. This deception isn't loud, it's subtle. It wears the language of love but strips away the call to repentance. It preaches blessing but hides the cross. It replaces the fear of God with the approval of man. And millions don't even notice the shift. The greatest danger before the rapture isn't darkness, it's deception that looks like light. Paul warned that in the last days, people would not endure sound doctrine. They would gather teachers who say what they want to hear. Truth would become offensive, and feelings would become sacred. We are living in that prophecy now. The Bible is still read, but it's no longer obeyed. Churches are full, but hearts are empty. This is the falling away. Jesus foresaw the quiet rebellion that begins not with words, but with apathy. The love of many grows cold not through sin, but through distraction. The fire fades slowly until believers mistake smoke for presence. But God is not blind to it. Even now, He's awakening a remnant, a people who still tremble at His word, who still hunger for holiness. Deception can't survive where devotion lives. The closer you stay to truth, the harder it is to be fooled. Because when the counterfeit grows louder, those who walk with the real Jesus will recognize His voice and follow only Him. 3. The global persecution and refining of the saints. Jesus said, "Then they will deliver you up to tribulation, and you will be hated by all nations for my name's sake." Before the rapture comes glory, there comes a refining. Persecution isn't a sign that God has abandoned His church, it's proof that He is purifying it. In every generation, pressure has separated the real from the religious, the devoted from the distracted. The last days will be no different. We think persecution will only come through violence, but it's already here in silence. Believers are being mocked for truth, canceled for conviction, rejected for righteousness. It's not about imprisonment, it's about isolation. The world is slowly pushing out anything that still looks like light. But God allows this not to punish His people, but to polish them. The fire that surrounds the church will also refine her. Faith that costs nothing will change nothing. When the shaking intensifies, convenience, Christianity won't survive. The days ahead will reveal who worships Jesus for comfort and who worships Him because He is worthy. The early disciples faced lions, prisons, and crosses, yet their joy never faded. Why? Because their faith wasn't built on safety, it was built on surrender. The same refining is returning now. Every trial, every rejection, every storm that tests your endurance, is heaven preparing you for the moment when the trumpet sounds. Pressure always produces purity. So when the world turns against you, don't curse the fire, thank God for the flames. The persecution of the present is shaping the glory to come. And when the smoke clears, those who endured will shine brighter than gold. The church that suffers now will be the bride that reigns forever. 4. The gospel to the nations and the final harvest. Before the end comes, Jesus declared, "This gospel of the kingdom will be preached in all the world as a witness to all nations, and then the end will come." That's not a suggestion, it's a sequence. Before the rapture, before the final trumpet, there will be a global awakening, unlike anything history has seen. Even as darkness rises, light will run faster. The message of salvation will reach every corner of the earth, not through human strength, but through divine urgency. The Great Commission isn't a slogan, it's heaven's countdown. Every soul reached is another second closer to the sky splitting open. The final harvest isn't just about conversion, it's about completion. The bride must finish her work before the groom returns. That's why, even in chaos, the gospel is advancing. The same technology the enemy uses for corruption is now carrying truth into nations once closed to Christ. This is the hour of unconventional evangelists, teachers, artists, filmmakers, even ordinary believers whose lives preach louder than sermons. God is raising voices in wilderness places, hidden intercessors, digital missionaries, and storytellers of grace. Every act of faith, every testimony, every whispered prayer is seed in the soil of eternity. But there's urgency in this harvest. The window is narrowing. The rapture will not happen until the invitation has been extended to all. Right now, mercy is racing against time. The world thinks it's advancing, but heaven is finishing the final chapter. So don't wait for revival, be it. Speak when others are silent. Shine where darkness reigns. Because the gospel is not just being preached from pulpits, it's being lived through lives. And when the final soul hears, the bridegroom will rise to claim his bride. 5. The midnight cry and the separation of the bride. Somewhere between dusk and dawn, when the world grows tired and the church grows distracted, a cry will pierce the silence. Behold, the bridegroom is coming. Jesus said the kingdom would be like 10 virgins, 10 lamps, 10 flames, 10 hearts waiting in the dark. Yet when the call came, only 5 were ready. The others had the appearance of devotion, but no oil within. This is the final moment before the rapture, the separation of the ready from the religious. The midnight cry isn't coming, it's already begun. The shaking in the world, the stirring in your spirit, the deep longing for holiness, all of it is heaven's whisper to wake the bride. The delay has tested love. The waiting has exposed motives. And now the oil of intimacy is what separates those who truly know him from those who merely know about him. You can't borrow oil. You can't fake fire. In that moment, titles won't matter. Followers won't matter. Emotions won't matter. Only relationship will. The oil represents intimacy, the kind that is built in secret. When the world is asleep but your heart still burns for his presence. We are living in that parable right now. Many still hold lamps, but few still carry light. The darkness around us is growing thicker. But for those filled with his spirit, it only makes the flame shine brighter. The cry is ringing louder each day. Wake up, bride. Trim your lamps. The king is coming. When the door closes, it will not reopen. The time for preparation is now. Keep your lamp burning. Keep your heart ready, because when the bridegroom appears, there will be no warning, only wonder. Conclusion. The sequence is unfolding before our eyes. Everything Jesus warned about is happening in perfect order. The shaking of nations, the rise of deception, the refining of the faithful, the spread of the gospel, and the midnight cry, they're not random events. They are the rhythm of prophecy, the footsteps of a returning king. The sequence is not coming, it has already begun. We are living in the tension between promise and fulfillment, grace and glory. Every earthquake, every moral collapse, every spiritual awakening is a reminder that time is running short. The rapture will not come as a surprise to those who are watching. It will come as a reward. Jesus never said, "Guess the day." He said, "Be ready every day." Right now, God is separating the devoted from the distracted, the lovers from the listeners, the true bride from the crowd. The world may be dark, but heaven's light is drawing closer. This is not the hour to fear, it's the hour to focus. The shaking is proof that the story is almost over, and the trumpet will soon sound across eternity. So stay awake, guard your flame, keep your eyes on the horizon of hope. Every act of obedience, every moment of surrender, every whispered prayer is your preparation for glory. The same Jesus who walked among fishermen and forgave the broken is about to step out of eternity and call his people home. And when that day comes, when the sky splits, when the dead rise, when the bride is lifted in triumph, those who endured, those who believed, those who stayed ready will finally hear the words the world has forgotten. Well done, good and faithful servant. Enter into the joy of your Lord.